So if you've got a Consew 226 or similar walking foot machine, I'll quickly show you how to reset your timing, and that's basically comprised of three parts: the hook timing, the hook spacing, and then your needle bar height. So if you've watched this video before, you can just quickly refer to the timestamps and refresh your memory on the section that matters to you. But if this is your first go at it, what I'll have you consider is make sure that you're doing these three things right before you make any adjustments to your machine. That is, number one, that you're using the right needle size and system for your machine. For a Consew like this, it's a 135/17 or sometimes called a 135/16 if it's got a leather point on it. Number two, make sure that the needle is fully inserted into the machine. That makes a big difference when it comes to timing. And third, make sure that the needle is oriented correctly so that the scarf is on the right as you face the machine and that long groove in the needle faces the left. Remove the throat plate and the feed dog to get a better look at the rotary hook. So when your machine's out of time, you can't pick up the bobbin thread and you certainly can't sew with it. To check if it's in time, just get a scrap of wood that matches the position of bottom dead center. So this is the lowest the needle bar can get, and I'm just barely touching that with this scrap of wood. So in that bottom dead center position, then continue rolling the hand wheel towards you until the needle bar raises an additional 3/32 of an inch. That is the exact timing position. And in this position, the rotary hook should be right adjacent to your needle. If your machine is out of time, just tip it back and remove the motor belt. And there's two screws in here we're going to loosen, and you'll move this gear left or right to adjust the hook timing position. Here's the first screw. Go ahead and loosen that, and then you'll roll the hand wheel away from you a bit, and that bottom screw will come into view. Now this one actually is aligned with a V-groove, so just loosen that slightly because you want that to stay aligned with the V-groove as you move the gear left or right to affect that timing position. And now maybe you can see this gear is able to move side to side, and that directly affects the hook timing position. So if your hook seems a little slow and it hasn't come around to the needle at the timing position, you want to tap this gear a little to the right. If it's too fast, just tap it a bit to the left. So with that gear loosened, now you can move it side to side, and the rotary hook is completely independent of the needle now, and so that's what lets us set the hook timing. But first we have to reestablish that timing position. So get your spacer, roll all the way down to bottom dead center, and then up another 3/32 of an inch. Stay in that timing position as you adjust your rotary hook. Here the timing is a little too fast. Here it's a little too slow. So we need it to align immediately adjacent to the scarf of the needle in that timing position. You should expect to make some fine adjustments, tapping that gear left or right as needed to align the hook with the needle. Sometimes I'll even tape the block and my 3/32 spacer right to the bed of the machine so I can tip it back a number of times without anything shifting. Then you can tighten up those two screws again. Just make sure that the lower one gets positioned into the V-groove in the shaft, and then rotate things around to expose that second screw and snug that one up nicely as well. Double check that nothing shifted as you tighten the screws, and this looks good. Then we'll move on to adjusting the hook spacing. Basically, the tip of the hook should pass just as close as possible to the needle without physically touching it. To adjust that, there's two screws here and here on the hook saddle, and then this whole saddle moves left and right to adjust that hook spacing. Tap the saddle this way gently if you want to close up that gap between the hook and the needle, or tap it back the other way if you find that the hook is actually striking the needle. Once you've made that adjustment, tighten up your two screws here and double check your timing. So with the hook timing and hook spacing adjusted properly, it should look like this. The needle comes around, you can't hear it ticking the needle and you can't see any needle deflection, yet it is as close as physically possible to that needle, so I'm happy with that. We'll go ahead and put it into the timing position by rolling the hand wheel towards me slightly, insert that spacer, and set it down. Now the final part is the needle bar height. So what you want there is the hook to be 1/16 above the eye of the needle in this timing position. If it's not, I'll show you how to make that quick adjustment. Position the needle bar at the bottom dead center position and look inside the cover on the left side of your machine for the screw that holds the needle bar in position. It's really only visible in that lowest position. It's just here. So go ahead and loosen that. Keep a little bit of tension on it and we'll make an adjustment to the needle bar height. Looking at the sewing machine from the back view now and just eyeballing the needle bar height to see if we're close. Basically the hook should pass right through the middle of the scarf of the needle, or more precisely 1/16 above the eye of the needle. Once that looks good, go ahead and tighten up that needle bar clamp and replace your cover plate. Then you'll reinstall your feed dog with those 2 screws, and I tell you what, it really helps to have a stubby screwdriver like this, not only because it's small enough to give you access, but also because it has flats on it. And that means that I can just get a adjustable wrench on there if there's a screw that won't budge. So this is super handy to have in your sewing toolkit. And just snug these screws up. You don't have to go crazy with them. Just a little rookie mistake alert here as you're putting your throat plate back on and you move the hand wheel. You shouldn't notice this bobbin case moving around this much. Instead, as you put the throat plate back on, this tab needs to engage with a little notch on the bottom of the throat plate. So double check that that gets under the throat plate as you install that with the 2 screws. This is what it should look like. There's only a very small arc of movement on that bobbin case. And you'll watch with glee as that hook comes around and picks up your lower thread. I'm guessing it didn't do that before you fixed it, but everything should be good to go now. Just make sure your tensions look good and you'll be off to the races on the next project. Hold your threads back a bit and test it out. Make sure you can sew a nice balanced stitch. So the stitching looks great on top. On the bottom, looks like we're pulling up a nice looking stitch. No loose threads and no skip stitches. So I would say we're all timed up and ready for a project. So hopefully you can get your walking foot up and running and the timing set just right. You know, start with the basics though. Make sure that you put a fresh needle in that's the right needle size and system. I always like to start with a number 20 needle and 92 weight thread. That's a perfect combo. But funny story, one time I was working on my sewing machine and I took a break and my wife, bless her heart, came in and she cleaned my sewing machine. She put gloves on and everything. It just looked beautiful, sparkling clean. And I came back and the machine wouldn't sew. Well, she had these gloves on and what happened was it hooked the needle on her glove and it actually bent the needle a little bit. And it acted like the timing was completely off and it was just a simple bent needle. So always start with the basics before you make any major adjustments. But even if you have to do the full timing routine, trust me, it's not that hard. Just take it step by step and you'll get it set up just right. Take care.